other news, federal government warns stranded Nigerians against treacherous journeys to Sudan's borders. Chibok leader says community awaits official confirmation on 2 abducted girls' escape. And as the world celebrates Malaria Day, the World Health Organization says more trials needed for NAFDAC-approved vaccine. Hello and welcome to News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I am Simisola Adigun. The federal government has asked Nigerians trapped in Sudan to avoid dangerous trips to the borders in a bid to escape the country. The government issued the warning in a joint statement signed by the Director in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Janet Olisa, and a Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Nasser Sani Gwazo. The ministries expressed concern over the dire humanitarian situation in Sudan and empathized with the civilians caught up in the ongoing crisis between the Sudanese army and the Rapid Support Forces. While empathizing with Nigerians stranded in the North African country, the ministries reiterated that they are working with relevant authorities to make the evacuation happen and asked for calm and maintenance of constant communication. A leader of the Kibaku Area Development Association, Alan Manasseh, has said that parents of alleged escapee Chibok girls are yet to get any official communication from the military on the purported escape of their children who have been in captivity for the past 9 years. Briefing journalists in Borno on Tuesday, Manasseh said there are rumors that the girls, Hawa Muta and Esther Marcus, escaped from the Boko Haram camp and are in military custody in Gwoza. Manasseh further revealed that calls and text messages to the leadership of Operation Hardin Kai Theatre Command Maiduguri are yet to be responded to confirm the report of the escape and whereabouts of the girls. If confirmed to be true, the number of Chibok girls still in captivity will be 96 out of the 276 that were abducted on April 14, 2014. Nigeria has joined millions of its counterparts across the world to mark this year's Malaria Day, tagged Time to Deliver Zero Malaria, Invest, Innovate, Implement. According to the World Health Organization, an estimated 619,000 deaths due to malaria was recorded in 2021, 6,000 fewer than in 2020, but still 51,000 higher than in 2019 before the pandemic struck. Our correspondent Folashade Oguride has more details in this report.
Amina Mohammed is one of millions of Nigerians who suffer from malaria yearly. The 24-year-old primary school teacher earns poorly and is unable to afford proper treatment in a hospital. So she depends on over-the-counter drugs and resorts to self-medication to get better.
I went to a pharmacy and I explained to the man that I explained where I'm having the pain. So he said that it's malaria that is disturbing me. So without a test, he gave me drugs. Now I'm feeling a little better, but sometimes I used to have some body pain like this. If I want to complain, they'll say it's still the malaria because malaria is a very big disease.
Last year, Amina got infected with the malaria parasite 10 times, and the environment where she lives worsens her condition. The dirty gutters in Agege, a suburb in Lagos, expose locals to the female Anopheles mosquito, which carries the malaria parasite. Amina says insecticides are only means of preventing a mosquito bite.
Our environment, you see, most especially me that I'm not using these insecticide nets. So I was teaching them the malaria. The more I'm treating, the more the mosquito is biting me. That's the challenge. I have a lot of challenges. Most of the challenges our environment that is not good, lack of environmental sanitation that we are having here. I feel a lot of challenge.
Nigeria suffers the world's greatest malaria burden, with approximately 51 million cases and 207,000 deaths reported annually. Medical experts say low-quality healthcare is increasing the burden of illness and health costs in the country.
Inadequate healthcare infrastructure in rural areas is really a major challenge that hampered our efforts in effectively tackling malaria in Nigeria. It's very important for Nigerian government to support the training of the community health workers, because they are the ones in the community relating with the people. And we must also ensure that we the government must also provide equipment, supplies, and necessary things they need to combat the spread and the treatment of malaria.
To drive down its malaria burden, Nigeria's Drug Regulatory Agency, NAFDAC, has approved the R21 malaria vaccine. This makes Nigeria the second country after Ghana to approve the new malaria vaccine developed at the University of Oxford. Folashade Ogurinde, TV360 News.
The World Health Organization says 8 countries in the African region have so far made appreciable impact in terms of reduction in malaria incidence. WHO country representative to Nigeria, Walter Mulumbo, who made the disclosure during a media parley at the UN House in Abuja on Tuesday, also said the R21 Matrix M malaria vaccine, given provisional approval by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, still needs to undergo more trials. Our correspondent, Emeka Amako, files in this report from Abuja.
Malaria, a stubborn public health enemy, has killed nearly 619,000 people in 2021. Of this figure, approximately 96% of those people lived in Africa. Rising from this, every year on April 25th, countries and organizations all around the globe celebrate World Malaria Day, with the World Health Organization choosing a theme for each year's event. This year's theme is Time to Deliver Zero Malaria, Invest, Innovate and Implement, with a particular focus of the implementation of strategies to reach marginalized communities. In marking the day, the WHO Regional Director for Africa, Matshidiso Moti, in her message expressed concern that malaria deaths remain unacceptably high and cases have continued to increase since 2015.
The WHO African region alone accounted in 2021 for an estimated 234 million cases and over 500,000 deaths, thus bearing the heaviest burden of over 95% of cases and 96% of deaths globally. And we've heard Madam Charity mentioning like a quarter of those numbers are happening in Nigeria. It means if we get it right in Nigeria, we'll influence the figures globally. Our region, therefore, continues to be the hardest hit by this deadly disease, partly because too many people do not have access to preventive and curative intervention. Nearly 30% of the population in most African countries cannot access essential health services.
Speaking on the R21 vaccine, believed to be a game changer for mosquito-borne diseases as announced by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, the WHO says the vaccine safety and efficacy is very much under review.
RTSS malaria vaccine. This is not the one we are talking about, the one that NAFDAC gave provisional approval. And this is also in a way understandable, because to get full approval, you need approval from WHO. And that particular vaccine is still being studied. WHO does not have the full complement of data and information to enable it to, to endorse it or recommend it for use. And you've seen the same process during the COVID-19. When we start seeing a new vaccine coming up, there was a dossier that went to WHO with a group of experts to review the evidence before recommending. So that we are at that stage of getting full complement of information. And I believe when we get that level, any country which is willing to introduce a new additional malaria vaccine will be free to do so.
While there are calls for the pace of progress to be accelerated to achieve the set target for 2025 and 2030, WHO has said it is imperative the malaria program should be decentralized to the district and community levels where health systems are closest to the affected populations. Now, for more on ways to eradicate malaria in Nigeria, public health
Tsuyi Mebawondo joins me now. Thank you very much for joining me. Now, lately, anti-malaria medications have taken more than once to achieve full health. Help us understand why this is the present situation for a lot of individuals.
We have seen now is that in a way, what the kind of mileage you have achieved with anti-malaria, we're not getting it. There are few factors responsible. There are a lot of self-medication. There are issues with the inappropriate usage of anti-malaria. There are issues with abuse. There are issues of fake anti-malaria drugs that is not helping our people to achieve what is needed. Yes, malaria, we know malaria is a very terrible disease because it brings with it misery, poverty, underdevelopment. And if we look at Nigeria, with our high number, more than 200,000 deaths of malaria, representing 1/3 of Africa deaths in malaria. We're not in an envious position at all. We need to do more. But let us appreciate the fact that we have a very small molecule to deal with malaria. We have a very small molecule to deal with malaria. And these molecules are being used indiscriminately. And we're seeing resistance to this molecule. That's a major factor responsible for resistance to anti-malaria medication.
For the year, which is time to deliver zero malaria, invest, innovate and implement. If Nigeria is to deliver zero malaria, what should we look to invest in and what should we innovate and implement?
Now, if we're saying we want to achieve zero malaria, what we're saying in essence is that we want to eliminate Nigeria and malaria from our country. We want to eliminate malaria. That means that we won't have any infection in 3 consecutive years. We won't have any transmission in 3 consecutive years. That is the goal of elimination. That is actually the goal of dealing with malaria. Now, this year's theme, we're looking at what's investment, what's innovation, how do you start implementing zero malaria. So now, in Nigeria, key innovations are necessary. One, you need investment in funding. You have to really move more funds. Thank God we're seeing government buying, and even at the level of federal government, we're seeing buying. The health system needs to be actually, rejigged. We have to, if you don't get the health system right, all our money, all our human resources, all our efforts will be zero. And the human resources also is very key. We need to train specific people that can go to the community, that can respond to malaria infection, both in the environment, both the vectors, both the infection, and both even the implementation and monitoring and evaluation. We need human resources to do that. And in addition, diagnosis will have to we are still stuck with that diagnosis, which is not too bad, but we have to make this sense embrace that quick diagnosis. Our drugs, we cannot be stuck with this just one single drug or few molecules to treat my. What are we going to do in terms of this together? Vaccines, as we're talking about vaccines, we need to see further deliver those vaccines to people as much as possible. That's why to see the fund, we need to be able to monitor the efficacy of the vaccine and know when the vaccine is failing off. The critical population we need to target pregnant women and under 5 children who are dying, of course, as much as 11% of the deaths of pregnant women are due to malaria, and as much as 20% of the 5 deaths are malaria. So we need to look at this population dynamics. The environment, because again,
I'm really sorry to cut you short, but public health expert Tsuyi Mebawondo, many thanks for your insights. The Ondo State Commander of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has read the Riot Act to Indian hemp cultivators to shun the illicit trade or face the full wrath of the law. The State Commander of the agency, Kayode Raji, gave the warning while addressing journalists in Akure. According to him, some unscrupulous persons have continued to embrace Indian hemp cultivation for their selfish gains, adding that officials of the NDLEA will continue to comb the forest to arrest those who engage in the illicit trade.
You get out of the state or you leave, you get out of the business. So that has always been the message. There are so many other businesses to do. The federal government, in conjunction with the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime, have brought up some other alternative crops, so that we are not just saying that you should leave cannabis cultivation, but we are saying that when you leave cannabis cultivation, you will be gainfully engaged in other forms of legitimate farm produce, which the government is willing to come to your aid in terms of provisions of certain things to make it easy and affordable for you to engage in. So we call it crop substitution.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, U.S. President Joe Biden declares bid to seek re-election in 2024. Details of the story and more after this break.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On Digi 360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it. Use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
Digi 360, dissecting the issues.
Welcome back. Now here's a recap of our top stories. The federal government has asked Nigerians trapped in Sudan to avoid dangerous trips to the borders in a bid to escape the country. The government issued the warning in a joint statement signed by the Director in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Janet Olisa, and a Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Nasser Sani Gwazo. While emphasizing with Nigerians stranded in the North African country, the ministry has reiterated that they are working with relevant authorities to make the evacuation happen and asked for calm and maintenance of constant communication. We also told you that a leader of the Kibaku Area Development Association, Alan Manasseh, has said that parents of alleged escapee Chibok girls are yet to get any official communication from the military on the purported escape of their children who have been in captivity for the past 9 years. Briefing journalists in Borno on Tuesday, Manasseh said there are rumors that the girls Hawa Muta and Esther Marcus escaped from the Boko Haram camp and are in military custody in Goza. If confirmed to be true, the number of Chibok girls still in captivity will be 96 out of the 276 that were abducted on April 14, 2014. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletins, for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Mexican President Andrés Obrador has said that he had tested positive for COVID-19, the third known infection, adding that while he was not seriously ill, he would take a few days off. The 69-year-old, who had a serious heart attack in 2013, reported mild symptoms from both of his previous bouts of COVID-19 at the height of the pandemic. Studies suggest that most Americans have been infected with COVID at least once, but a growing number have been infected multiple times. We'll take another break here and return with more updates in business. Please stay with us.
Hello? Yeah, I found your wallet in front of a supermarket. Meet me at Apple Junction. Yes, I'll be waiting for you.
Now we find out. Two of us.
Thank you very much, officer. You know, it's surprising that men like you still exist in the police force.
Yes, so... Oh, yes.
This is just a token of my appreciation.
Oh, no, you don't need to do this. We're only doing our job.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Now I know police is really my friend.
Yes.
Friend. Hey. Which came up with this one? I don't understand.
You know your problem. You are greedy. I'm a policeman who is doing his job. All forms of corruption in the force. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. It's time for business updates. Folashade Ogurinde joins us now. Folashade, over to you.
Well, many thanks, Simi. And in business, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says it has so far spent over $1.1 billion on the ongoing construction of the Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline and station project from its cash flow. The Group Chief Executive Officer of the company, Mele Kyari, disclosed this on Monday during an inspection tour of one of the project sites located in Kogi State. Kyari further said that the gas pipeline was projected to support power plants with a total of 3,645 megawatts, adding that to soon begin construction of Abuja-Kaduna power plants. Nigeria has emerged as a top country for venture capital investments in 2022. A new report by the Africa Private Equity and Venture Capital Association has revealed. In its annual report, the continental body said that Nigeria outperformed other countries that made the list to account for 22%. The report added that by region, West Africa maintained the top spot for the second consecutive year, with Nigeria as the most active country both in the region and on the continent. We'll take a break here and be back with a review of the stock market. To stay with us. Trading on the NGX has been on a snooze since last Thursday due to the Eid-el-Fitr holidays. But upon resumption today, the bulls dominated the market, recording 14 billion naira gains for investors as market capitalization rested at 28.1 trillion naira. The all-share index appreciated by 325.27 base points to 51,681.01. The market breadth also improved, leading to 33 gainers and 12 losers. Driving the markets were interest in Jaipur Gold and Ventures and Honeywell Flour Mill, closing with a combined share appreciation of 2 naira 88 kobo. Now, on the losing side, Wapik Insurance came out last with an end-of-day price appreciation of 7.32% at 38 kobo per share, followed by Okomo Oil Palm. Now, at the end of today's trading session, a total of 541 million volumes of shares valued at 5 billion naira exchange hands in 6,404 deals. Now away from the NGX to some of our select global stocks, it's a mixed trading day for UK's FTSE and US Dow Jones, closing on the bearish trend at 0.27 and 0.39% respectively. While the US lender First Republic plunged amid fears of a new banking crisis, London's FTSE was dragged lower as investors fretted over the state big tech's results on Wall Street rolling in over the coming days. Now for Asian stocks Nikkei, it's in the greens at 0.93%. And that's it on business news and stock market review. Back to you, Simi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Folashade, for the update. And on the global scene, U.S. President Joe Biden has announced he is running for re-election in 2024, plunging into a ferocious new White House campaign to finish the job. After a series of big legislative wins and momentous foreign policy struggles in his first 2 years in office, Biden has no real challenger from within the Democratic Party. But in a campaign that may result in a rematch of the 2020 election against Donald Trump, he is expected to face constant and fierce scrutiny over his age. Many, including in his own voter base, believe the veteran Democrat, who would be 86 by the end of a second term, is too old to execute the duties of the presidency. Well, up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
The Kujus again is out and breaking box office records in a matter of days. The movie, directed by Stephen Biodun, is a sequel to Introducing the Kujus, which was produced in 2020 and tells a relatable story of a young woman's love for a family and how this love reunites a family. The new film continues with the heartwarming, hilarious drama of the Kujus family being complete with an engagement and a wedding in view. The movie features characters such as Bisola Ayola, Bimbo Ademoye, MC Lively, Timino Egbosun, with new addition of characters such as Don Jazzy and Lilo Adorogba. Since the debut, the movie has grossed over 17 million naira, and as a result, the film now has the biggest opening weekend for a Nollywood film this year. R&B singer Robert Sylvester Kelly, popularly known as R. Kelly, has been moved to a correctional center located in North Carolina of the United States of America, where he is expected to serve his 30-year prison sentence in connection with multiple sexual offenses. In September 2022, a federal jury in Chicago had convicted the singer of 6-count charges of sexual abuse against 3 women. The singer was also acquitted of 7 other charges, including obstruction of justice, accusing him and 2 other associates of rigging his 2008 child pornography trial in Cook County. In addition to the 30 years he's already serving for a separate conviction out of New York, in February 2023, R. Kelly was sentenced to 1 additional year in prison for his Chicago conviction of federal child pornography and child enticement charges. That's it on the entertainment segment of News Now.
And in sports, FIFA says it has received 4 bids from countries seeking to host the 2027 Women's World Cup. The World Football Governing Body announced the development in a statement on Monday. According to FIFA, South Africa has submitted its bid to host the competition. The country was the first African nation to host the Men's World Cup in 2010 and is hoping to extend the record to the women's game. That's all in our bulletin this evening. Many thanks for watching. I'm Simisola Atiku.